Well, hello and welcome viewers. I am Aishwarya Kapoor and you're watching The Burning Question. And is it burning? The Adani issue. From India to overseas. Everyone wants to know the real story. What's happening? What has happened? But let's be very clear, viewers, that it's a point of concern. Let there be no doubt about it. The Indian Stock Exchange, let's be very clear. It not only runs on evaluation, but also on sentiments. And the sentiments right now is anti-Adani. And that's why you see, not one, not two, but all the 7 companies listed of the Adanis, including that of the more stable cement one, have plummeted down. And like how? Like how? People are questioning now even the recalling of the FPO by the Adani. Even the recalling is being questioned again. Gautam Adani comes out and says, listen, I feel it's morally not right that the FPO still goes out because the value has now come down, so I'm taking it back. But what does it show? The HNIs which invested in the FPO that they trust, whether it's whoever were those individuals, it just suggests that they still have trust. But then there is a whole political storm brewing. On this report, the Hindenburg report, because everyone wants to know that what is this report and what do they do? And how do they have such detailed information regarding an Indian industrialist? What do they do? What exactly do they do? So for them, just refer to this 2020 Nicola Corp report, which the same institution did. Few say that they can smell more. What's behind this research of this Hindenburg? They say there is more to be explained. It's just not a attack on Adani or the reality coming out, but the way it is being done, it is to target something more. But then, can those questions go unanswered, viewers? And it's very significant and sensitive when I say, no, they cannot. The meteoric rise, everything. But then, let me just tell you this before I get in this special report. And when I say, on the promise of anonymity, one of the top 6 opposition leaders, while I was speaking to them, they said, listen, it's going to be very interesting to see, and it's just an anecdote I'm getting in before I get in this special report. They say that it's going to be very interesting to see, Aishwarya, that is Adani on the right side of the law or not, because they say that on this report you can question on the facts. But is he really on the wrong side of the law? So let's debate on the burning question, but first, this special report.
The Adani Group's shares fell further after the firm's late-night move to call off the much-hyped FPO. Today, Gautam Adani insisted that the fundamentals of his conglomerate were strong.
Dear friends, after a fully subscribed FPO, yesterday's decision of his withdrawal would have surprised many. But considering the volatility of the market seen yesterday, our board strongly felt that it would not have been morally correct to proceed with the FPO.
He stated that the decision will not have any impact on existing operations and future plans. The Hindenburg research report has triggered some asking questions about the exposure of banks and LIC to the Adani Group. Meanwhile, the opposition has taken up this issue in the parliament. 9 opposition parties have demanded a discussion in parliament.
Joint Parliamentary Committee हो या सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जो चीफ जस्टिस है उनके नेतृत्व में इसकी इंक्वायरी हो और डे टू डे रिपोर्ट भी जनता के सामने रखे और लोगों को भी मालूम होता है कि उनके पैसा उनका इन्वेस्टमेंट और उनके जो कमाई कहाँ गई, कहाँ तक रही, कहाँ तक बच गई, इसका भी उनको एक विश्वास मिलता है।
Gautam Adani's empire has lost more than $100 billion following explosive allegations of accounting fraud last week. But the truth to the claims are yet to be ascertained. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And I've joined in by former MP Raj Sabha and industrialist Sanjay Dalmia. I've joined in by Savio Rodriguez, Chief Editor, Goa Chronicle. Thank you, Savio, for coming in. Dr. Suman C. Raman joining in from Chennai. And Ravula Sridhar Reddy, leader of BRS and chairman of the Telangana State Education and Welfare Development Board, live joining in from Hyderabad. Savio, I'll come to you, but let me go to the former MP. Sanjay Dalmia, everyone seems to be gunning at an international level because the kind of reports which have come out after this report, after this Hindenburg report, and the kind of response we've seen by the Indian Stock Exchange, they say that this plummeting of his shares has just begun. But Gautam Adani comes out today and says that, listen, my basics are strong and I have not done anything wrong. Sanjay Dalmia first and then Savio.
You see, it is a normal thing, it's a very normal thing. Anybody who succeeds is always the line of fire. I don't know Gautam Adani personally, but whatever I know is that he started as a scratch and he has made up this business on his own. Now that's something very laudable. I think anybody who does this kind of endeavor, this kind of enterprise, needs to be lauded, not the way it is being done by some people. Point is, Hindenburg report. Now, I don't want to say anything about Hindenburg because I don't know them. But you see, I have seen, this is my experience, anything good in India does not find favor with the West. It is a very normal thing. I just want to give an example. When we were doing so well, we get flock from foreign agencies. Hindenburg is one of them. Take the case of BBC.
Yeah.
What have we done wrong? BBC says that we have done a lot of wrong things. But BBC does not know that why they want to attack our leadership, because they don't want India to grow. It is against their, something that doesn't palatable for them. I can tell you, if I want to...
Okay, I'll come back to you, Suman C. Raman. No, I'll come back to you, Sanjay. No, Sanjay, I'll come back to you.
All right,
Dr. Suman C. Raman. No,
All right.
Sanjay Dalmia, I'll come back to you.
All right,
I'll come back to the politics part also. You are also yourself a former MP. I'll come
All
back
right.
to you. Suman C. Raman.
Yeah.
Suman C. Raman. You take this report very
All
seriously.
right, wonderful. Thank you.
Look, Aishwarya, the issue is very
Suman C.
simple.
Raman.
They have made specific allegations. The allegations are not general. They are not vague. They are extremely specific. They have raised 88
Yes, they are specific.
questions. Now, the simple way of responding would be to answer to these 88 questions, which, as has been seen from their clarification note, most of them have not been answered. Now, it is more than the Adani group.
Is it?
My question is to the regulators. What are the regulatory agencies doing? What is the point in somebody saying, please let us know what is the bank exposure? Now the RBI gets into the act and says, let us know how much each bank has, lent to Adani companies. And then, SEBI says we are closely monitoring the situation, whatever that may mean. Look, there is a bloodbath which is going on in the shares of the Adani group. Today alone, Adani Enterprises plunged 26%, and that was after already having plunged 26-27% yesterday. So what are we talking about? Where are the regulators? First of all, you have to understand that this is much bigger than Mr. Adani himself. This is about the confidence of the international investment community in the country. And that cannot be compromised for whoever it is, whether it is
Absolutely. But
Adani or
Savio,
somebody
is
else.
that the point? Savio, that is the point which the former MP were also trying to make. That this is greater and more than Adani. And that is why, is there more than it meets the eye, Savio, which the former MP was just trying to indicate. Savio Rodriguez, Savio.
Well, I'd like to make 4 points, Aishwarya. The first point is, I don't think we as a country or Adani as a corporation needs to answer to a research firm selling the stocks or the shares that are around, because that is the nature of their work. So if it does not, in my understanding, become a competent authority. Number one. Yes, because it's a large corporation, these stock markets has been taking a beating. And that is something that the government must look at. And that is why the regulatory body like the RBI and the various others have now looked into the lending that has been done to the Adani Corporation. So today, if Sumant, my friend, tells me that because some research firm that's in the same business and has benefits because of that makes an allegation against any corporation in India that has grown so big, and that was the third richest man in the world at this point of time, and I'm supposed to get weak in my knees and say, let's go and do a major investigation, goes on Hindenburg, who's probably just come into the limelight because of this issue. I think that is a ridiculous statement to make. It's not a competent authority.
Someone, I'll come to you, hold on.
It's not even a media company that's making an allegation. Right? So the point is if Adani is wrong,
seen their record?
Then a competent
Have you
authority
seen their record?
within the Indian
Ravana,
government.
Sridhar Reddy and Sanjay Dalmia, have you seen?
One point, Aishwarya.
I was just researching a bit about the Hindenburg. No, I'm coming to all of
No,
you.
this is not
I was
about
researching there
Hindenburg.
was 75%
Much before
strike
Hindenburg,
ratio.
2 years ago itself, these allegations have come out. Many of these allegations were made 2 years ago. It is not
Sumant, how cute
in
of you.
2021.
Sumant, how
Maybe
cute
not
of you
these specific
when you say
charges.
this is Savio, he says this is not about Hindenburg when you know. You know, the Indian
years
Stock Exchange
ago,
not only, as I
don't
said,
take
not
my
only
word
works
for
on
But
the
the whole
valuation but
allegation
also on the
is based
sentiments.
on Hindenburg.
You see that the man is now on the 15th position. He was at number 1, number 2, Mr. Reddy, and now the man is on the 15th position. Around 40% of his shares of the 7 listed companies have eroded. The price value has eroded. So yes, as much as Savio may say, and I may personally want to support that, yes, why do we give this report? That's much important. But the impact, Savio, is massive. And this is just not it. In 2020, the Nicola Corp report, they finished the company.
So that's Aishwarya.
By one report.
Aishwarya,
that's
I just wanted to.
That is precisely.
So if I can just go to Mr. Reddy
That's
first and then to you.
precisely. Mr.
Aishwarya.
Dalmia.
Yes, Mr. Reddy first and then coming Savio.
Sure.
I agree with my co-panelists
You see,
that it is not about Adani.
may I just
It is not
butt in for a minute?
One moment, sir. One moment. It is not simply about
Sure.
Adani.
Please hold on, Sanjay. Sanjay ji, please hold on.
Our BRS has given an urgent motion in the parliament for a discussion on the Hindenburg report. See, it is not the question of Hindenburg report or some other report.
Yeah.
We had experiences in the past. We have seen Arshad Mehta's, we have seen Mehul Choksi's, we have seen many other companies who have actually made a big dent to the banks and the financial institutions in this country.
No, the
So it is
comparison you are
not the
making,
question
sir.
of the listen. It is not question of the Hindenburg report.
You see,
Why the government is scared?
I want to butt
continue for a
in.
minute?
I want to
Can I
butt in,
continue for a
Aishwarya.
minute
I
without-
want to butt in.
Can I continue?
Aishwarya, I want to butt in.
Wait a moment. The common man investments
Give him 30 more
are there
seconds
in
and then you
life.
come in, sir.
What
And
I am seeing
SBI,
is, excuse me,
many
what
other-
I am seeing
Sir, wait.
Give him 30 seconds.
Why
What
are
I
you so
am seeing
hurry
is-
protecting somebody?
Please.
This is not fair. Let me make my statement.
I am not protecting
Why the
anybody.
government
I'm
is
just
scared?
making a point.
Sir, can you please hold
I
a minute?
should be allowed to make a point.
Let me please complete my statement. Why the government is scared of a discussion in the parliament? The country owes an explanation from Honorable Prime Minister Modi on this particular issue because it's not a small things. 7.5 lakh crores evaporated in 5 days' time. And the report clearly indicates irregularities.
Point taken. Sanjay Dalmia.
Aishwarya, finally,
the comparison
Aishwarya.
with Harshad
Why
Mehta and
are the
everything, is this
elections
right?
come?
Is this right?
What I am getting
Is
is,
this right? Now you calm down,
What
Mr. Reddy.
I'm-
I'll come back to you.
no,
Sanjay Dalmia, hold on, please.
I think,
Sanjay
Are
Dalmia.
calm.
I think it is very unfair.
Hold on, Mr. Reddy.
I think it is very unfair without we are trying to prove a man guilty without knowing the facts. I mean, we are saying the man is bad, he's done this, he has, stock market has been affected, stock market has been affected. Because of what? Is it?
No, Mr. Reddy is doing a comparison of Gautam Adani with Harshad Mehta.
Has he done anything wrong?
We are not comparing. We are only
Absolutely
saying
rubbish.
we demand a discussion because
No, you just did.
I am not talking in favor of Gautam Adani. All I am saying is somebody, you can't judge a person without it is
Hold on, Mr. Reddy.
Well.
Don't go. Please don't go.
How do you know there is irregularity?
Why there is
How can there be irregularity? Nobody has done any homework, and you just make a statement that there is irregularity. This is very unfair.
I am only trying to make a point.
The whole trend of discussion is that the man is guilty without going into the real fact.
Look, nobody is addressing
you know why the opposition is
which
also
have been raised.
murmuring?
Hindenburg, 1 minute, Aishwarya. Hindenburg was not the first to actually raise these questions, though Hindenburg has done a very detailed report and has catalogued them with individual specific charges. The issues about the concerns about the Adani group have been in public domain for more than 2 to 3 years. And as the share prices skyrocketed, some going up 8,000% and so on, I think that these questions had to be asked. It was the duty of the regulator to have stepped in much before Hindenburg. Whether Hindenburg published a report or not, the kind of exposure that LIC had, the kind of exposure that SBI
what are you
has.
saying? No.
These are
Savio, last 30 seconds. Savio, do you really feel that this would have been the response of the Indian stock market if this report would not have come?
This is
No, hold on, Mr.
wrong.
Reddy, please don't
This is
disagree.
very wrong.
Please hold on, Mr. Reddy. Savio.
One second. May I?
Linked with the Ketan Parekh issue.
This is very wrong.
Was that not our?
How-
Let's-
Please don't
okay.
Savio.
The
Please
most
carry on.
important-
Let me speak, Savio.
The most important thing for us to understand is that the allegations are made by Hindenburg. Tomorrow some hamburger makes an allegation against another Indian company. All our opposition leaders are going to go weak in the knees.
Aishwarya.
That's the point.
That is the problem. I'm saying a competent authority in
Let's
India.
find the legality.
Aishwarya.
That is exactly what Mr. Sanjay Dalmia was also saying.
Legality.
Ready, Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, 10 seconds.
It is not the
Okay, calm down, all of you. Mr. Reddy, 10 seconds.
It is not
Quick
the-
answer. Suman,
it
please
is not
don't
the
go on
question
like
of-
this. Please don't go on. It's a short debate I need to do today, please.
Please allow me 2 minutes.
It is not the question of legality.
No, I don't have 2 minutes, Mr. Dalmia. I'll give you a minute.
Security of the investment.
Simple question.
No, you know the matter of the fact is 7.5 lakhs crores have evaporated. What is the reason?
All of you.
We are expecting a discussion.
Aishwarya, this is not correct.
We are expecting
I
a
have to
discussion
get
in the
1 minute.
parliament. We
I
demand
want
it.
to
Either
clear all this apart.
a parliament, joint parliamentary committee, or a
I'll come to you,
committee
sir, hold
constituted by the Supreme Court Chief Justice. See,
Okay,
if you
point
correlate,
taken. 30 seconds,
if you
Sanjay Dalmia.
correlate,
30 seconds, Sanjay
Aishwarya,
Dalmia.
if you correlate the
Sanjay
value
Dalmia, 30 seconds.
of the company
Sanjay, 30 seconds. Former
in
MP,
its
30 seconds. Yeah.
counterparts in the same
You
business.
see,
30 seconds.
I am
Okay, Mr. Reddy, point taken.
saying,
Sanjay Dalmia, carry on. Yeah, hold it on.
We need a discussion in the
I think it is very wrong. You are already trying to say the man is guilty and you want to start all these things in the parliament here and there.
Who's saying?
Yes, you have a right. But don't go with that basic thing that the man is guilty. You don't even know. Most of the foreign companies also are indebted. They also take loans from here and there. There is nothing wrong in it. In a business, this is a very normal thing. You take loan, you have equity. This is a very normal thing of doing business. Please don't try to.
No, so
All people are
Point
taking
taken.
is we don't know whether he is
Suman
guilty or
Raman.
innocent. Let's have an
Suman
inquiry.
Raman.
Open mind.
Is he on the wrong side of the law?
Look, Aishwarya,
Suman
there
Raman,
have
Savio
been
Kampi. Is he on
allegations.
the wrong side
These
of the law?
allegations are serious.
Suman.
Have an inquiry. Let the regulatory agencies carry out an inquiry. Let them say that
Have an
nothing
inquiry.
is
Savio
there.
Rodriguez.
Why are they running away from
Aishwarya,
the
Suman Raman is saying have an inquiry. Have an inquiry.
You
Al-
can't say the man is guilty and then
I am saying
Okay,
at
then
the
open
end
mind
of the
says,
day,
yeah.
the
Savio.
inquiry cannot be because a
to
hamburger,
make a man guilty without
an inquiry cannot be because an hamburger
So an
somewhere
inquiry cannot be
decided
there
to call.
because of a Hindenburg or a Hamburg report. Savio says, Tumansi Raman says, have an inquiry. Sanjay Dalmia says, have an inquiry but an open mind, but do not announce him wrong. I am saying the man was on number 2 or number 1 position and now he's on the number 15th. 40% of share prices are gone of the 7 listed companies on the stock market. So all of this, questions are serious, Mr. Sanjay and Savio, and the allegations are. So there has to be an investigation. You guys won't even let me speak. But that's the time I had. Thank you all of you. Now I'm going to debate number 2 with my colleague Shawan on the part 2. But first a small break and then I'm coming to it. A short break here.